Hit the subscribe button now for more AITA dilemmas. I had been living with my then fiancé for 8 years before we decided to tie the knot. Instead of opting for the traditional bachelor and bachelorette parties, we thought it would be a great idea to spend a month apart to rejuvenate our relationship before the big day. Little did I know, this decision would lead to one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. You see, my fiancé had been dyeing his hair black to hide his gray since he was 20. However, for our month apart, he decided to embrace his natural gray and not dye it. The problem? He forgot to mention it to me. Fast forward to the day of our wedding. The music starts playing and I start my walk down the aisle. To my dismay, standing by the altar, I see a gray-haired man I barely recognize. Panic washed over me, and I couldn't control my emotions. I ran back inside, tears streaming down my face, leaving everyone bewildered. My reaction shocked everyone, including myself. Even my maid of honor chided me and said I was behaving unreasonably. After a while, I had composed myself. The makeup artist did a touch-up, and I was ready to walk down the aisle again. This time I made it to the front, even though the stares from confused guests made me feel uncomfortable. I tried to shake off the humiliation, and smiled at my husband-to-be. The rest of the wedding went off without a hitch, and even though my husband asked me what had happened, I said I would tell him later. However, towards the end of the evening, he started behaving a bit cold towards me. When I asked him what was wrong, he replied, "Nothing." Later, in the privacy of our hotel room, he told me that one of his groomsmen had heard the reason for me storming off from one of the bridesmaids, and told him all about it. Of course, I apologized profusely, and tried to assure him that to me, he is the best-looking man in the world regardless of his hair color. Despite this, the very next day, he went out and bought hair dye to turn his hair back to black. Now, even though almost a year has passed, I feel like there is still a strain on our relationship. My husband no longer likes me to touch his hair. When I compliment him on his looks, he doesn't look pleased, but instead shakes the compliments off grumpily. Although I can understand how my behavior hurt him, I feel like I have tried to make up for it, but he doesn't seem to accept my attempts to apologize. Am I, still, the a-hole, or should my husband have gotten over this by now? Hit the subscribe button now for more AITA dilemmas.